Hi, I'm Paul Vunak, and welcome to Dumong. What exactly is Dumong? Dumong's Filipino equivalent of grappling. But we like to think of Dumong as an art that moves a body from point A to point B. That's really all we're doing. We're able to find the body's choke points, certain points on the body that are more conducive to moving a 250-pound frame. So first of all, what I want to do is explain to you those choke points on the body, and then show you why we would want to move a body, say, from here to here. Stu, let me borrow you. Say we're in a fight, we're moving around, we're going to take everything from a jab. A jab is going to sort of be our common denominator. I'm going to enter off of this jab and go into the blast. We should pretty much have these basics down already. When he shoots the jab, when I go into my blast, you're going to see I'm looking to get that elbow. But a lot of people, if you don't take them out on that entry, they're kind of backing up that way, and you can't really bury that elbow in. So that's where Dumong fits in. You move him just a little bit closer, boom, and then you can put in that elbow. So watch what we're doing here. Stewart jabs, when we're moving around a little bit, bam, that's my entry. I want to take that nerve. As soon as I get the nerve, boom, and I'm taking the eyes, this is where I would blast. I would, with the 50-yard dash, right down this guy's center line. But I'm trying to get that elbow, but I can't quite reach. So, boom, this is my Dumong. Now, I can bury it. So just watch the tempo. Watch how it exposes itself right at this particular reference point. Boom. That's what I want. Just moving that head just a little bit. So if I can't quite reach it from here, it's boom, and then that's when you can bury it. So that's the point of Dumong, moving a body from point A to point B. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it all out of Hubud, and from each position in Hubud, we're going to show you how to get into a Dumong position. What we just finished working was how to get into Dumong off of a jab. What I want to do is I want to show you that when you crash into trapping range, you're in different reference points. And for each reference point, you have a Dumong position, a position where you can move your opponent, keep him off balance. Remember, if you're fighting a boxer, he's going to hurt you by torquing the body. If you're keeping this guy off balance by pulling and pushing and jerking, feeling his energy, using the body's choke points, this guy's not going to be able to load up and hurt you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Hubud, and we're going to work each reference point, because that's what Hubud really is. It works a spectrum from here all the way around in a 360. So first of all, I'd like to show you how you would get in some of these reference points. Then we'll go back to Hubud and isolate it. Okay, Stu. Okay, first of all, let's say Stu jabs, and I happen to cover a little bit more here in the fight. So when he jabs, boom, if I get stuck here, this is one reference point. Let's say the move I was trying to make was an outside eye jab. Give me a jab, Stu. And I was trying to get that to the eyes, but I didn't quite zone enough, so I got stuck right here. Well, that's one. Another could be here, where we're stuck here. Another could be here. Or maybe Stu wants to swing at me like a wild man, and I just happen to get stuck here, and now I'm here. Or both hands swing, and we're stuck here. But for each one of these positions, we have a Dumong. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Hubud to sort of organize it for you. Now, Hubud is an energy drill done by the Filipinos. It's sort of the equivalent to Chisao in Wing Chun. First of all, we should already know Hubud. This is not a basic tape. Assuming we already know the basic energy drill of Hubud, then we're going to take the Dumong out of that. Okay, so let's follow along. This is Hubud. We start from this reference point. I go raise, slap, and hit. Raise, slap, and hit. So we're going to assume that you already know how to do this. From this position, we're going to use each rotation as a means to get into a Dumong position. The inside forearm is going to be the first one, a little pull, and we're going to go back to here. Now I'm going to go to the outside, a little pull, and we're back to here. So we're going Hubud back and forth, and I find this, boom, pull. Go back on this side, and boom, pull. When I pull, it could be into, let's say, boom, a headbutt, or I could pull on this side, boom, into a headbutt, or you could pull into an elbow or whatever. But what we want you to get is the reference points and the turning of the body out of Hubud. The forearm is our first position. Okay, let's work it. There you go. This is good, Stu. You tried to zone me out, so I'm not in the camera, is that it? No, I'm trying to get back into the camera. I don't know what the hell it is. Okay, let's move along now, staying out of Hubud once again. What we were doing was rolling, and we're trying to find the inner arm as a leverage point, which is right here. When we get to this point, let me give you the mechanics a little bit. We're pushing down here, but as I push down with one, I'm pulling up with the other. That's the crank. That's how I'm looking a lot stronger than I am. The way I move, my tendon strength, combined with this guy's choke points. So if we're right here, I'm just giving a little pull, and that's what I'm trying to do. If I'm on the inside, boom, I'm getting that little pull. So we're going to the Hubud, and this is one position. Boom, that's where the headbutt might be. This may be another position here. Bam, that's the headbutt again. You can see right where that temple exposes itself. Now let's move up the body to the arm. The first position is right here. All we're going to do is just give a little shove. Come back to here again. Go on the inside. Give a little pull. Come back to here. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and we have 4. All these positions are on the arm, but we're learning how to do it out of motion. That's why we use Hubud. Now let's move along, working on the rear hand. What we have to do to get to the rear hand is shoot an angle 2. Let me show you what I'm talking about. When we're doing Hubud, we're continually repeating an angle 1 back and forth. But when Stuart sees an angle 2 freeze, he stops right there. This gives me the opportunity to work off of this limb, or Wu Sao in Chinese. Okay, so we're doing back and forth. Is feeding this angle 1, 1. But when he sees angle 2, now I'm going to use that and work the Dumog off that position. If I want to work this position, I just stay here. If I want to work the same position on the other side, I stay here. But if I want to work the other hand, what I do is I feed that angle. Now, boom, that's how I'm working it. Notice right where the headbutt would be. Try to find it right there. That's the headbutt position. Right when I get to here, boom, that's where I would headbutt. But what are we doing? We're trying to put ourselves in different reference points, just like in the street fight. So let's go through it slow one more time. We're doing Hubud. We raise, and we get to this position. Look at my body, and boom. That's our little pull. I shift to here, boom. We're moving to the other side of the arm, the humerus. I grab it right here. I can either pull or push. I choose to pull, or I walk it this way. Go back to here. Same thing on the inside. Boom would be right where my headbutt is. Give a little pull. Go back to Hubud. Now I want to work on the other arm. I feed an angle 2. That's when I'm going to take the inside and give a little pull. Switching it again. 1, 2, and a little pull again. So either way, we're working all 4 positions out of Hubud. Now let's review. We've got 4 positions on Dumog on the right hand and 4 on the left hand. We have the inner forearm, the outer forearm, the inner humerus, and the outer humerus. Then to get on the other hand, we just trap from a backhand line and we do the same thing. So now that we've worked off of the limbs, we're going to trap the limbs up and work off the head. I'm going to stay in Hubud just for continuity. Okay, so we're doing Hubud, but I want to get his limbs strapped up. So I'm going to come here, boom, and have that. Now I've got the head. The head is your best Dumog position, bar none. There's 4 ways you can move the head. The first way is backwards. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling this way. When you pull, you're using your lats and your stomach muscles to get a pulling effect. You're not using your bicep. Stu, let me put you on this side for the angle. Okay, so we're doing Hubud here. When I come to here, boom, that's when I would do that. This is the pull to get him to come in. Normally that would be into a headbutt. That's another tape. But right now we're just pulling. The other direction I can go when I get the arms pinned up is the push. So as we're doing Hubud, I want to get the hands strapped up, so I'll come here and here, but then I just walk that way. So I can pull or I can push. This is the two main positions on the head. So let's look at it again. We come here to here. Here to loosen him up a little bit and just walk him. The other direction is to pull him. So now we have two more directions left. Turning right and turning left. You don't want to muscle the guy. He could have a big neck. And unless you loosen him up here, he could be fighting you. So you twist. As you twist, this is when you're walking it. You want him this way, boom. Just like the steering wheel to a car. If I walk this way, we go back to hoobah again. Wherever you have the head, you have the body. The key is to get the hands trapped up. We're going to do it out of hoobah. Keep that continuity. Okay, so we go 1, 2, and then go here. And then go right back out to hoobah again. Okay, or I can go 1, 2, and boom, and just pull this way. The key is that we have complete control of the body when we're going. Then what we can do is we can go from the arm, go back out to here, go back into hoobah again, come back around this way, boom, and use the head. This way we've got control of the body moving him. Then all we do is we start to insert the tools in between the Dumog. Now what we just did was cover a few Dumog positions out of hoobah. Let me show you how they're applied. Let's do. Okay, if we're in this reference point here, once again, this is our position. Boom, this is our pull. We control him this way. If we work off this hand, it's the same thing. All we're wanting to do is just move the body. Move the body from point A to point B, and then put in the elbows, put in the knees, put in the headbutts. Those are the insertions that go in between the pulls of the Dumog. This is the key. Dumog will increase the power of your elbow by putting your opponent in position. You're not having to reach. Now that we understand the basics of the body, the basic choke points, what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate each position. To make this a little bit more combative, we're going to put boxing gloves on the opponent. So we're going to put ourselves in one of those reference points in which we would do a Dumog position. The only difference is now our opponent's going to actually be trying to hit us. This isn't combat yet. We're not sparring yet. We're not even putting in our tools. We're just allowing him to hit us. What we have to do now is we have to use the element of energy and sensitivity to pull it off. So the techniques alone won't cover it. We need the attribute of sensitivity. And the only way to get that is to throw gloves on somebody and let him actually do it. Now what we just did was we showed you the Dumog positions out of hoobah. Let me just take the body and isolate the body and show you the choke points on the body. Let's do. First of all, if he locks out an arm here, and this is rigid, and if I push, notice I'm going to affect the whole body because it's rigid. The whole body is moving. So what he wants to do is just bend right here. This is where he'll give. If this happens, this occurs in the fight. Now we go to this line. This is the next way to affect the body. If at this point, when I'm pushing this line, I feel an energy, I feel a fight. As soon as I start to go, well, now I just borrow it to go that way. So that's really what Dumog is you're touching the body and you're feeling an energy, and from that feeling, that's when you're deciding to go that way or that way. Once we get to the head, it's the same thing. If I start to push this way and he fights me here, well, I'm just going to take it and shift it back around. That's why I'm going back up this way. If I send it to here, now I'm in a perfect Tai Chi position. But the whole concept is we want to be able to move his body. We have to be able to feel his energy and then, boom, make the appropriate adjustment. Okay, once again, what I'd like to do is isolate one part of Dumog, and that's this particular grab, this bone here, the humerus. What we're going to do is we want to bring out energy, we want to bring out sensitivity. So we need a progression in training like anything else. Knowing the positions or knowing the techniques do you nothing without the energy or the attributes to back it up. So this is our progression. This is one way. We're not sparring yet, but we're working our way up to it. Okay, Brian, let me borrow you. Now, in reality, how I would get there is I'd have to get in with all of this. It would look something like this. He'd be moving around, and I would enter with something and then just start blasting. And at this point, this is where I would insert, boom, a knee, and this is the position I want. This is the first Dumog position. So to eliminate us from having to do all that, we're going to just start right from here. So we're going to start right at this position where I'm holding this. If he had a helmet on, we could add the headbutt. For right now, what we're really working is defense against me. Now, I'm grabbing his arm. He's trying to hit my head. Give me a shot. Boom. That's the shot. I know I'm going to take that. If I feel here, this is all I'm doing is trying to keep him out of that. Now, he's trying to hit me, and sometimes I can just hold myself here, and boom, put this in a few times, and just hold it. Come back to here. Once in a while, let him get a shot, and boom, boom, that's good for the soul, and then move around a little bit, and keep driving this in. But that's all we're doing. Play this game. Stay here for hours. Go 5, 10 rounds, 2 minutes a shot. Once you've done that a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, once you got this arm, you know right here, the guy's not going to hit you. And if he does, he's not going to knock you out. Now, once again, what we're doing is we're isolating Dumog positions. We're putting ourselves in a conducive position to where the opponent cannot hit us, but we can move him. We can move his body. You need to know we're not going to be there very long. Sort of like a block in football. The hole opens and it closes. The running back hits a hole, and once he hits it, it's closed. You do not stay there for very long. But what we're doing is we're isolating one thing, because we're developing attributes. That's why it's a drill. So we're going to isolate ourselves holding that arm, which is one of our favorite Dumog positions. He's going to continue punching us. Every technique we do from here on out has to be done that way. I don't want you to go back and digress into doing Hubud, which is non-contact. Once you understand the body's positions out of Hubud, you've got to progress. It's got to get more and more combative. So from now on, everything you do in Dumog, the opponent has to have a glove on, and he's got to try to hit you. And then you just simply add elements. The first element we're going to add after our knee is going to be a foot sweep. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab his arm. We're going to start from that position, and Brian's going to try to hit me. I'm going to get a few hits in because I'm not really headbutting him. We're moving around a little bit, take a few, give a few, move them, and then when you find that time, you seize that opportunity, you foot sweep him. But the key is you're foot sweeping a guy who's trying to hit you. He's moving around. There's no set pattern. You're just ad-libbing. That's how you get good. And if there's any secrets that I can give you, and there aren't, and especially they do not lie in technique. They lie in the training method. There's no secrets. It's just how you train. So I'm going to show you a way to train that's going to make your techniques functional. It doesn't have to be this foot sweep. Anything you want to put in, pen jot, anything. For me right now, I'm going to put in a foot sweep. Okay, Brian. Okay, we're going to start right from here. I'm going to grab the arm right here, and he's going to hit me. Give me a shot, right? Boom. Okay, so I'm pulling him around and try to prevent that. Sometimes I'll hold it here. I still drive the knee in. But when I see this, boom, I add the sweep. Pick him back up and move around again. Everything's done out of this. Now I got an outside sweep. Pick him back up and do it again. Okay, so that's the key. And we'll stay here playing this game, maybe at about 70% for a long time, until we get the feel. Then what we do is we just gradually increase the number of tools we use. Now, as I've said before, the key to training is progression. You have to gradually get it more and more intense. What we're doing was isolating this particular part of the arm for Dumog. On that particular drill we just did, one side was hitting you with the glove. What I want to do now, keep it about 50% or less. I'm going to have control on the arm. We're going to start from that position. But when I see the other glove come, I want to kind of ride around it and just grab that. Simulate a few tools, and then just go to the other arm. We can't go to the neck. We can't put in the headbutts. We can't put in the knees. We can't put in the Wing Chun. We can't put in the arm wrenches. We're just staying in Dumog. We're just moving around a little bit. We're traveling. You need to know there's a lot of things we're not doing. This isn't the way we would do it in a fight. However, to get good at Dumog, you need to isolate it. Okay, Brad, come on in. Now, once again, if Brad jabs me, I'm going to end up entering that way. And if I'm going to use it as boom, I'm going to kill it first, and then this is how I'm going to keep my balance. So I'm going to do everything from here. But in addition to putting in the knees here, he throws a punch a few times, boom. When that comes, I want to come around to this side and just ride this. All I'm doing is waiting now till I see something here, come around and just ride it on this side. This is really where I'm wanting to be. But for training, we're staying on this till we get whatever we want to do. Once we get our position, if we see a foot sweep, we see an elbow shot, we see a headbutt, we're going to go for it. But the key is, the main goal is to keep him off balance by feeling him. This is the Dumong. Now, as we just saw, we were doing the Dumong position on the arm, the humerus, where one side is grabbing you, the other side is trying to hit with boxing gloves on. Now we're going to move up to our favorite position, the neck. Normally, in a fight, we get in this position. We're going to use Wing Chun to trap to get in. Once we get there, you need to remember that this and this is already there. Okay, so the fight theoretically is already over. However, just for the training, to isolate the feeling, one side is going to grab the neck and move around. Now, he can give you some punishing shots to the stomach from this point. Give me a few shots. Okay, so right at this point, right at that point, we want to move this body's balance. If we don't move his body's balance, if we can't get that out of the way, you're going down. A good boxer is going to take you down. So watch what I do this time. As soon as I grab the neck, same thing, Dean. Now, while I'm doing that, while I'm keeping it in, see, sometimes I'm tight, other times I'm out here, sometimes I'm here. All the time we're doing that, remember, all of this boom, 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 boom is going in. So what we do is we just try to hold it. About 1 in 5 you're going to take. It's impossible not to because you're playing all D. So you're blocking or feeling the sensitivity of stopping about 1 in 5. Once you put the headbutts and all the rest in, hopefully that'll even up the odds. Now, as I've said before, grabbing the neck is the most important thing in Dumong. This is a goal that we want to get to. Once you've got the opponent's neck, you've got his body. Once you've got his neck, you've got the eyes, you've got the throat. There are a lot of tools that we can do that will take this guy out of commission permanently. So what I want to do now is, in addition to having him just throw punches at me, I want to show you a few of the other things we can do to the opponent. You'll see that we can injure to degree. We can set the guy down like a little baby, or we can take him out of commission permanently, all by simply grabbing the neck. The point I want to make is, the reason we get to the neck in a little bit quicker way, a little bit more intense, is because we're coming in with a progressive indirect attack. We're using a little fencing, a little Western boxing, and immediately we're kicking into the Wing Chun's trapping, holding the center line, trapping up the hands. As opposed to a Thai boxer, which I'm not putting down Thai boxing, they're wonderful in the ring, but for what we do, we want to get the arms pinned up. So a Thai boxer will come in this way and grab the neck, whereas we will run down the center line with a straight blast, get some kind of obstruction, trap the hands up, and then get to the neck. And immediately when we get to the neck, we're doing all those illegal things that Thai boxing can't do in the ring. Okay, now Rob, come here a second. Now once again, normally, to get to the neck, I would just trap up the hand with something. Boom, that would be my first shot. But let me show you just a few moves we can do from the neck. The first thing is the eyes. Immediately when you do the eyes, you pull the head here. As I'm pulling, give me a few shots. See, I'm keeping it in here, out of reach. This is where he can't really hurt me. I'd like to zone a little bit to keep my going away. Notice when I straighten it out this way, I'm setting it up for the elbows. I'm setting it up for the headbutt. As I pull here, the inner elbow is going to send it this way. As I pull back, boom, I'm back to here again. If I want, any one of these can turn into a complete takedown. When I get to the ground, I can follow up. Let me show you a few other tools. Notice when I pull the head, or I pull his face into my head, my arm is already bent, locked and loaded for my next shot. So as I pull this here, let me just pull it over my shoulder for a minute. Let's get this angle right here. Notice the bend in the arm. That's going to send the head back out again. So as I pull in this way, boom, I'm back to this. If we just use the shoulder, that's the feeling. Okay, so we've got the head here. We're pulling it, bam, to get this. And then we're tucking. He's going to give me a few shots, boom. Then you get back out again, and you're here. Notice I'm in center line. Every time I shift, I'm always in center line. Then I shift back to here, get a few shots, boom, come back out, boom, and do my thing again. So that's the game. You take a few, you give a few. One of these, and one of these, or one of these is worth 20 body shots. That's the key. Now remember what we're doing. We're progressing up to contact. Still, we're staying within the confines of Dumog. We're not putting a whole lot of punches in, but we're gradually making it more and more intense. We're escalating the amount of pressure that's being put on us. The first thing we did was we learned the body's positions. Then we went to Hubud, and that way we could do it out of a movement. Then we progressed from Hubud to isolating a particular position and putting a glove on our opponent. From there, the first move we did was grabbing the humerus and the other guy trying to hit. Then from there we escalated up to the neck, where one side is trying to hit the body or the face, and we're onto the neck. Now what I'd like to do is combine this position with this one. Keep in mind that between both movements, there's a lot of hitting, a lot of elbowing, a lot of kneeing. So what we're going to do is just jump from Dumog position to Dumog position, but through the insertions is where the shit hits the fan. Okay, Tom, come on in. Now remember, in reality, we'd be moving around here, and I would jab and I would enter. I would enter with something, okay, a straight blast or whatever. We're going to start right from here, okay, same thing. I'm grabbing the arm and I'm protecting him and protecting my face from getting hit. Now at this point from the arm, I can shift up and down with the neck. Every time I can do that, boom, that's when I'm going to put this in. At this point here, I can go to a foot sweep if I want, or I can just go back out. I just want to keep control. Well, I'm in control, this way he can put in a few hits, but then I just move back around and borrow that. If I want to put in savant here, I just stretch him out at this position, boom, I can come back into here and do it again. See, so you can go from art to art, provided you understand the energy. If he's a little bit further out, you go to savant. If he's a little bit closer, you go to calling. If he's right in between, you might go to boxing. You don't know. The point is we can flow from art to art. Now that we've taken some of the Dumog positions and done them out of sparring, made it a little bit combative, we're going to take Tom over here now, and we're going to reiterate everything from the very beginning. Okay, Tom? The first position we showed was the inner forearm. What we do is after we hit here, take this nerve, is we're going to pull. As I pull with my left hand, I'm pushing down with my right. This is just a review now. Watch the head. The temple will expose itself for the headbutt the second that I pull. That's where we want it. Right there. So that's the first position. Boom. The second position would be, Tom, let me get you over here, please, is the outside forearm. As soon as I pull here, boom, it's the same thing. If we use the inner arm, I can be in this position, in which I would pull straight down, or I can be in this position, the outside, and I'm just simply pushing. If we use the other arm, it's the same thing. We're doing it here, or we're pushing here. So these are the positions. If you just tried to move a man without knowing these positions, he's going to naturally ground. Get me a good stance, Tom. If I want to just try to move him, it's going to be a struggling match. But the minute I just make one position and change, that's what's going to give me the illusion that I'm a lot stronger than I am. So now that we've covered both of the hands, let's work our way to the head. The first position was just to pull him this way. We can take him all the way down with this, or we can just take him into the headbutt. That's up to us. We can spin him all the way to the ground, or we can just spin him onto the knee. That's up to us. Like a cantaloupe, you can lay it down or you can smash it. The important thing is that we know all the positions, we have a training method to accommodate that, and it gradually escalates till it's more and more combative. Now, as I've said before, Dumog is the ability to move a person from point A to point B. You're understanding the body's choke points. You're knowing positions on the body that are more conducive to moving somebody, a lot of weight. But you have to understand, before you can do that, you have to loosen them up. You've got to get in headbutts, knees, and elbows to loosen up the body, and then you move them. Then we can turn them into takedowns, complete takedowns. Now, I'm going to show you the headbutts, knees, and elbows. Well, we can't actually do it. That's another tape. But we are going to do the takedowns. Okay, Tom, come here. Let's say Tom jabs, and bam, I take it out of commission. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take that nerve. As I enter here, boom, and I'm trying to get that face, this is where my position is. This is where I land. Boom, that's my shot on the forearm. My first takedown is the first technique I taught you. I just, boom, swing right to here. So we can use it as a takedown, provided we got enough hits in. So once again, slow, it's boom, 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 then, bam, that's our takedown. Now if we do the same move, let's try from this angle, Tom. Give me a jab. It's going to be in the outside line. Same position, but it's the outside Dumong. Now once again, that would be a headbutt. Neglecting the headbutt, going straight for the takedown, boom, that's our takedown. So look at it again. Tom jabs. I go into here, bam, I get all that in, and then, boom, that's my takedown. If I go to the other arm, as soon as he jabs here, boom, I'm just going to take him down on this side. So each Dumong position can be a takedown. If I go past both arms and go to the head, then we're going to use the head, boom, for a takedown. That's the position. So regardless if it's a head or an arm, after you've hit the guy, Dumong can be a wonderful takedown. You don't need to grab a gi, don't need to grab clothes, and everyone's got arms and legs to grab. Well, thanks for hanging with us. Just remember, Dumong is the ability to move a person, and that's an important thing in a street fight. When Dan and Bruce were investigating all the different styles to figure out what was the best matrix of systems for street fighting, they needed some art that can move a body from point A to point B. They discovered Tai Chi. They also discovered Dumong. It's a necessary element for a street fight. It will improve the power of your elbows, the power of your headbutts. When you're pushing and pulling and tugging a man, he has no way to possibly hurt you. All he can ever do to you is graze your skin. He can't hurt you. Even a Mike Tyson, if you're pulling the headbutt, knee, and an elbowing, and keeping him off balance, he's not going to be able to hurt you. And that's the only thing you're concerned with, is being knocked out in a fight. Today's as good of a day as any to die. So you don't care about your body. All you care about is not being knocked out. A few grazes, a few scrapes on the face, that we can deal with. And Dumong is going to guarantee you're not going to get hit with a solid blow. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you in our next series. Bye.